Hey, did you go to work today? This week? Congratulations, you aren't one of the stats on this list. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics recorded 5,250 fatal work injuries in the United States in 2018. That's a rate of 3.6 fatal injuries for every 100,000 full-time workers. Every state has some dangerous jobs. Every year, every state has some on-the-job deaths. There's no escaping it. That's just how the world is. The trick is how to lower the amount of deaths you have at work. There are several things that states, cities, and the country use to make the workplace as safe as possible. Safety equipment, laws, regulations, education, they don't stop everything. Some states catch far less than the rest of the country. Right off the bat, I'll tell you Texas and California had the highest number of absolute workplace deaths in 2018. They also had far more workers than anyone else on the list. So this list is ranked per capita, like most statistics are. This should be a fun one. Here are the 10 states with the highest worker death rate in the country. We gotta start with Number 10, Louisiana. Louisiana is starting to show up on more and more of these videos of suck. Corruption, poverty, crime. The Pelican State better pull its act together or they're going to push Mississippi and Arkansas out of the top spots on the list of suck. Louisiana averages 111 workplace deaths every year. That's 5.83 deaths per every 100,000 workers. And if any of you see someone in the comment section asking something along the line of, how does 0.83 of a person get killed? Please take a moment and explain how math works to them. I can't catch them all. There's far too many people asking things like that on my videos. The deadliest job in Louisiana is working in a sawmill. Funny how that works. Spinning blades made of steel or killing people. Weird. Never saw that one coming. Number 9, Oklahoma. You gotta look out for a lot of things that'll kill you in Oklahoma. Tornado, floods, bit by a copperhead, being shot by a rancher for trying to make his sheep your girlfriend, and going to work in the oil and gas industry. Those things all happen in Oklahoma. The land of the red man has 93 workplace deaths per year on average. That's 5.88 deaths per every 100,000 workers. The good news is when it comes to workers' rights, they rank 25th, kind of middle of the pack. We learned that on another video we did a couple weeks back. The deadliest occupation in Oklahoma is production and support of oil and the gas industry. Number 8, Arkansas. Here's another state that's been around the bottom of the barrel in a lot of stats lately. The fact that they're number 8 on this list instead of 1 or 2 should be viewed as a win. As far as the health of the workers in Arkansas goes, I found one stat that was pretty good. They're the 3rd best when it comes to high blood pressure for their workers. So when they do their physicals, their blood pressure's in decent condition. Cholesterol's a nightmare and so's their lungs. A lot of smoking going on there, but the high blood pressure thing, that's a win. And here's where they start to lose. Arkansas has 71 workplace deaths per year on average. They don't have that many people, and they don't have that many people working for that matter. They average 5.99 deaths for every 100,000 workers. The deadliest occupation? Poultry processing. I don't even want to know how they're getting killed in poultry processing. I'm a big fan of buffalo wings, and I don't want to be thinking about that every time I take a bite. Number 7, Mississippi. Our old friend, the Magnolia State, Mississippi. I say old friend because we talk about them a lot here. It's like we've grown close. But that's what happens when you suck in everything but education. If work isn't killing you in Mississippi, something else will. They have the lowest life expectancy in the nation at 74 years. The best would be Hawaii at 81.2, followed by California at 80.9. When you're talking averages, that's a big jump. On average, Mississippi has 6.18 deaths per year for every 100,000 residents, and they average about 70 workplace deaths per year. The deadliest occupation? Poultry again. No wonder KFC starts running out of stuff every time it's hurricane season. Number 6, South Dakota. South Dakota is not a bad state. I mean, unless you've been killed at work, then I'm sure it sort of sucks. When you're in South Dakota, there's always the possibility of freezing to death, being trampled by a bison, or dying in an auto accident. Make sure you have your insurance paid up. When it comes to workers' rights, they aren't bad. They have jobs and they're moving in the right direction when it comes to growing a tech industry, oddly enough. They have a lot of college students with a lot of student loan debt that are staying in the state because of the low cost of living. You also run the risk of dying while working in South Dakota. On average, South Dakota has 27 workplace deaths per year. I know that number sounds low, but keep in mind, the state has less than 1 million residents. They're actually ranked 47th in the number of residents out of 50 states. So yeah, not a lot of people there. They actually have 6.46 deaths per 100,000 workers every year. The deadliest occupation? Frozen food production, like chicken. What the hell? Number 5, West Virginia. West Virginia has always been bad in this category, sadly. West Virginia's coal mining. Coal mining is extremely dangerous. I imagine the only reason they're not number 1 or 2 on this list is because the coal industry is sort of fading away. The U.S. coal consumption is projected to fall to 691 million tons in 2018. That's a 4% decline from 2017. They expect consumption to decline another 8% in 2019. So there's not a lot of jobs, not a lot of people working in coal anymore. That's why they're at number 5. West Virginia has 56 workplace fatalities per year on average. The entire state has less than 2 million people, and they have a bunch of people not working. So that number's kind of up there. On average, the Mountain State has 6.65 deaths per 100,000 workers. The deadliest occupation in West Virginia is, you guessed it, coal mining. Number 4, Montana. Montana is the 4th largest state in area and the 8th least populous of all the 50 states. The western half of Montana is mountain ranges and the rest is sort of flat. Prospectors arrived in Montana looking for gold and they found copper and silver as well. They settled Montana, and by the end of the 19th century, there was a 5 square mile hole in the ground in Butte that was producing more than 2 million pounds of copper a year. That was a quarter of the world's supply at the time. They're still pulling natural resources out of the earth in Big Sky country, which helps land them at the number 4 spot on the most dangerous states to work in. That might not be the case in the coming years. Financial services and business service companies have found a home in Montana, along with a lot of other things like data rooms and, digital asset management companies. They're kind of moving to the Billings area. Currently, they have 7.81 deaths per 100,000 residents a year in Montana. On average, they lose 36 workers a year, and the deadliest occupation in Montana is a gigolo for my cousin's ex-wife and natural resources. Number 3, Alaska. The amount of workers that Alaska loses every year is legendary. It's a hard life in Alaska. Alaska has a bunch of jobs that are more dangerous here than any other place in the country. Logging workers, fishing-related workers, aircraft pilots and flight engineers, roofers, structural iron and steel workers, waste collection, electric power line installers and repairmen, drivers, sales workers, truck drivers, farmers and ranchers, construction laborers, and the most dangerous job in the state of Alaska is waste collection. It's bad enough you're like emptying trash or pumping out one of those portable toilets at a construction site. Add the fact that you gotta keep looking over your shoulders so you're not trampled by a moose or mauled by a bear. Good times in Alaska. On average, they lose 30 workers a year in Alaska. Now keep in mind, it's one of the least populated states. They average 9.25 deaths per every 100,000 workers in Alaska. Number 2, North Dakota. North Dakota is a lot like South Dakota, just a little colder and a lot more dangerous. A lot of that danger has to do with the mining and natural resource extraction. Shale oil field jobs, which come and go with the price of oil, has added a new wrinkle in the North Dakota workers' danger scale, at least for the last decade or so. They've also had an increase in workman's comp lawyers, oddly enough. Imagine that. This place has 11.11 deaths per 100,000 workers on average every year. They average 46 workplace deaths per year in North Dakota. The deadliest occupation, you guessed it, natural resources. And number 1, Wyoming. Wyoming is a lot like Montana, just closer to the wildlife that awaits you in Utah. Totally kidding. Totally boring in Utah. Wyoming has some of the same issues that North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana have, just at a higher rate. In 2017, they were ranked 4th most dangerous state to work in, and here they are at number 1. Wyoming has 12.14 deaths per 100,000 workers. They have 33 workplace deaths per year. Now keep in mind, the entire state has less than 600,000 residents, and they're ranked 50th in population. There's not a lot of people here, and definitely not a lot of workers. They're still losing 33 on average a year. Your odds of not coming home after your shift are highest in Wyoming. Now, I'll give them one thing. They have gotten better over the last few years. The thing is, the other states have gotten a little bit more better than them. If more better was a word, it would fit there perfectly. The deadliest job in Wyoming is, believe it or not, the U.S. Park Service. Apparently, those guys are having some rough times. It's some wild land there, so that one kind of doesn't shock me, but it still sucks. Alright, so that is the top 10 most dangerous states to have a job. Hope you guys got some information out of it. This was really interesting. I did a little too much reading on this one, and I went down that, Google rabbit hole and just got way too into this one. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a comment, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and ring that little bell so you get a notification, hopefully. Come on, YouTube, get that one together when I upload a video. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.